Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Oh, week's over and time to get ready for football. Roll Tide, and I hope Auburn does well tomorrow too. I'd like to see a good Alabama Auburn game at the end of the season. Um, so tonight's topic is I want to go back to something I may have. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? And I may want to go back. I may have already touched on this topic before, but I can't find it for my post, so I can't load it up to my YouTube video. So I want to go back and rehash it again. Um, anyway, if I've already given this to you, this video before, I want to apologize beforehand because I always hate repeating myself, and uh, I hate being a dead horse. Um, anyway, uh, so from what my understanding of it is, Trump's going to get the wealthy's going to get a tax break. Uh, the middle class is going to get double what their original itemized deductions were. So they're going to get a double tax increase or tax decrease, tax break. The middle class is, but that. And I seen something where it said the poor is only going to get like $60 uh, in money back a year, only 1% of the money back. Well, the poor don't pay any taxes, okay? And people get so upset because of the wealthy get a tax break. Well, they pay most of the taxes. And people say, yeah, there's loopholes and they can write it off and stuff. But the people who really get stuck are the people in the middle. I mean, we pay the most taxes. So yeah, so we're going to get a huge tax cut up under Trump's budget proposal. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem with the wealthy getting a tax cut. I mean, they paid the largest out there. I mean, I think when Reagan came into office, they was in like a 70% tax bracket. I mean, can you imagine, if you just make a million, you got a job where you just make $1 million a year, which I mean, there's some out there. You're in a 70% tax bracket. And that's taking 70% of your money. And then I think they got it down to like 35 and it's back up to 38 and it maybe back down to 30. It's 35 or 38%. Maybe it's supposed to go down to 30. I don't know. But I mean, still, if you're talking, I don't care if you are making $1 million a year, if you're paying 35% in federal taxes right off the top, I mean, you just paid what, $350,000 in taxes. And they say, yeah, there's write-offs and stuff, but who knows? Let's not count the state taxes they're gonna have to pay and just local taxes and taxes when they buy new vehicles. And I mean, I get, they call it trickle down economics from the Reagan years, and that was when we had massive tax cuts for the wealthy. And now we're deep in debt over that, but it really wasn't tax cuts for the wealthy that caused these debts. It was our spending problems. I mean, the amount of money that we're spending each year. I mean, 35% of our expenditures go just for social programs. I'm not sure what the exact percentage of the defense budget is, but it's over $1 trillion a year. So when you start factoring in, probably half of our expenditures are going to social programs and to um, the defense. Um, that's why we have turned into $21 trillion in debt in this country. Um, I mean, half of our money's just, I mean, our money's been wasted. And um, so, I mean, that was just the point that I was touching on. I mean, it wasn't the wealthy getting a tax cut that put us in this big deal, in this mess. And, they pay the most taxes. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with getting the taxes. Um, and I touched on the tax break that the middle class is going to get. And the poor wouldn't get one. But like I said, anyway, um, sorry, I kind of rambled there a little bit. Um, but the main topic is what I wanted to get back to was the Trump tax cut. Um, this is probably the fairest tax cut we've had in a long time. Um, they're just looking at it on paper. I mean, the biggest thing is he wants to bring the corporate tax rate from 35% down to 15%, which would be probably the greatest thing that's ever did. I mean, I think they're going to sell at 20%, but that's why we've lost so many jobs overseas. I mean, when you're paying 35% taxes off the top before you sell anything, sure, you're going to take your factory and you're going to ship it down to Mexico and you're going to build it there for cheaper labor and send it back to the United States for sale. That's why we've lost all these jobs, is because of the corporate taxes on corporate. So yeah, we've got to lower the corporate tax rate. Now, I don't know if we'll ever be able to see those jobs back. I mean, you're talking about a lot of steel and coal jobs that are gone, and people talk about wanting cleaner energy in the jobs it'll create. Yeah, it will. I mean, I guess, and it'll probably be better off. I mean, I don't know how much I really go into the whole global warming thing, but that's another topic for another day. But yeah, it'll create jobs. But these people are going to have to go to school for it, and some people just don't want to go to college. They want to go out and work. And when you take away this manufacturing jobs, which you have in our country, especially up near the Rust Belt states, and the coal jobs in Kentucky, and the steel jobs that's been lost in Birmingham and in Pennsylvania and throughout the nation. I mean, you've seen entire towns close overnight. You know, you have a town of 2,000 people here in rural Alabama, and they had a little steel mill, and it closed and went overseas. And next thing you know, 1,700 people. I mean, everything depended on that. Your few little restaurants, your few little stores. That was the whole economy from the people working there. They estimated during the Great Recession that we were losing, that 17 factories a day were closing. 17 a day, all across America, all across these little towns. I mean, there's a town here in Alabama that was at one time had the Goodyear plant up there, and I think it employed about 15,000 people, and they closed it. And now you got a town less than 30,000 people. I mean, that just happened. I mean, that's happened all across the United States. I mean, little towns, like I said, 3,000 to 4,000 people had a meal. Everybody worked there. People worked at local restaurants. The whole, and they're gone now. So I don't know if we can ever bring them back, even with this corporate tax break. But and in the past, we've had a lot of talk of a flat tax. I remember the first time it was ever talked about was Ross Perot in 1992, and he was running on a flat tax. He wanted to put a 13% across the board flat tax, which that would have been a huge tax cut for the wealthy, just tremendous. But and then Steve Forbes ran on one too, and I think his was around 17%. Again, that'd be a huge tax cut for the wealthy. So I mean that I don't the flat tax to me has never been a good idea. The best tax plan that I've ever heard of, which would alleviate everything, it would tax everybody fairly, and that was actually the name of the book. It's called The Fair Tax. Is we do away with like a Medicare tax, a Social Security tax, state income tax, all local taxes, and we put a 31% federal tax on everything that's purchased. So instead of paying all these taxes out of your check, you're just going to pay it when you go to the gas station, you go to the grocery store, you go shopping or whatever. And that's also going to tax the wealthy the most, because when they're buying these $3 and $4 million homes and they're selling them and they're having to pay 31% taxes on it, and they go out and they buy their yacht and they pay a 31% tax on it, and they go out and they buy their new Lincoln or their Mercedes, you've got a 31% tax on that. So that you're going to be getting a lot of money in from those people. And then the poor who don't spend that much, they're not going to pay that much in taxes. And that would alleviate the IRS breathing down your neck. It cost those guys some jobs, but they're all accountants, so I think they would be able to go find some jobs pretty easy. But anyway, I touched on the Trump tax plan. I don't know who's watching it first. Again, wealthy's gonna get a tax break. I think it's going to be a 25%, 12%, and like 6%, I believe, is the brackets it's going to be. So, your middle class, your standard deduction is going to double. So that's, like a 50% tax break just for you. Um, the wealthy's going to get one. I mean, so there's fixed to be a lot of people with a lot more money. Now, whether that correlates into national debt or more pumping money back into the economy, that's yet to be seen. If it causes a huge economic boom, then you're going to see a huge rise in this country. Or we're just going to go further and further in debt. And I don't know how much more we can take of that. I mean, we're $21 trillion in debt right now. You check out the defense budgets for this year. Um, um, Check out what I think in Medicare is already like 8 years ahead of schedule of being broke. I think automatic federal payments have to start kicking in 2020. Or no, they start dipping into the special fund, the reserves in 2020. By 2029, some other programs supposed to start kicking in. Um, I'm pretty sure the Social Security age is fixed to start having to be raised because there's no way you can keep. I mean, when Social Security was first enacted, I forgot who it was, called it the greatest Ponzi scheme ever, because you had four people paying for one person that was in it, and now you're paying for one person is paying for every four people that's in it. So eventually, guys, this thing is going to go broke. I mean, it's already broke. It happened in the 80s with when Reagan started dipping into the Social Security Trust Fund. I mean, it's broke and it's going to run out. I mean, because when it's first enacted too, I mean, you have people that was, you couldn't draw it to you in your 60s. Well, this was in 1939, so people really didn't live long lives now. People now are living to be 95 and 100 years old, so you're paying a lot longer into, people are living a lot longer, so there's no way to salvage it. I mean, my proposal to salvage Social Security is, and you can do away with the tax and give a huge tax break to everybody, is anybody who's 40 or over stays in it. Anybody who is 30 to 39, their money gets put into a private medical investment account that they are free to put money into, or for Medicare into the future. And then everybody between the ages of 18 and 29, whatever they paid into it, is refunded to them, and it's left up to them. Excuse me, I said Medicare, but it's left up to them to start saving for retirement. That's how we could totally end Social Security. Everybody from 40, 49 stays grandfathered in. 30 to 39 goes into an investment retirement account. It's up to you to put money into it. Everybody else's money, 18, 29, is refunded to them, and it's on you to start saving for retirement. Sorry, I got way off topic there. I was going to talk a little bit about, I've already touched on how to save Medicare, but that's the only way that we're going to save Social Security, because it's done. I mean, it's broke. I hate to say it, but it's only a matter of time. I mean, it's simple mathematics when you come down to it. And, at my age, to draw Social Security, I've got to work 26 more years. Well, I know it's not going to be there in 26 more years. And I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? And then, you can't keep raising benefits that much because, like I said, people are living longer, and longer they live, it's going to run out. And not only that, people aren't going to be able to live off of it. So that's my idea for Social Security too. But anyway, I'm sorry for getting way off on and rambling again, and telling stories about stuff. But I just want to close out with the main thoughts of the Trump tax plan. It's the greatest tax plan we've seen in years. I don't care what the Congressional Budget Office tells you, because they're wrong on everything. And the way to really fix the tax code in this country is to start the fair tax, which would be a national sales tax, 31%, and the federal government divvies it out to the states who need it the most, which will still probably go to most of your poor states because they get the. It's funny, the states that vote Republican vote against their best economic interests because they get the most aids. The states that get the least federal aid, they always vote Democrat. So it's kind of ironic how that works out, but uh, guess that's a conservatism is another topic for another day. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry, I hope I didn't ramble too much. And y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.